Alright, so first things first, because it's going to take the longest, we're going to make some roasted garlic. So for that, we're going to get some olive oil, about 3 heads of garlic, some salt, and some aluminum foil. So using a sharp knife, we're going to be taking the tips off the garlic, leaving the root end intact. Do that for all the garlic that you're using, then place them on top of a sheet of aluminum foil, then add a good glug of olive oil, rub it in a little bit, and then season pretty well with some salt. Then seal up the aluminum foil pretty well. I like using 2 sheets of foil, just so if there is any leakage of the oil, it's not going to go all over my oven. Once you got your little garlic package, we're going to pop it in a 375 degree oven, and we're going to roast it for about an hour to hour and 10 minutes. In the meantime, we're going to start soaking our cashews. So take 2 cups of cashews and add a generous amount of boiling water. You want to at least cover it by 2 or 3 times. Then give it a little cover with some saran wrap just to keep the steam in and keep it hot, and set it aside. So decide on whatever baking dish you have to use. Make sure it can hold at least 2 to 3 cups. And we're going to line it with parchment paper, just big enough to cover the bottom and the sides, just prevent some sticking. So once your garlic's nice and cooked, it should look something like this. If not, cook it for another 5 to 10 minutes until it does. Lower your heat to 350 degrees, and then let it cool for about 10 to 15 minutes. Once it is cool, we're going to separate the flesh from the skin. The best way of doing that is kind of by smushing it, almost like emptying a tube of toothpaste, just from the bottom root end all the way to the tip. You can give it a little bit of a flick just so no skin comes off with it. You can smush it a bit with your knife just to make a little bit more of a paste, and then set that aside. So after that hour, we're going to strain the soaked cashews. We're going to drain them off. We're going to give them a little rinse, drain them off again. Then we're going to add them to the blender. We're going to add 600 mils of hot water, 1/4 cup of nutritional yeast, 1/4 cup of tapioca starch, about 80 to 90% of your roasted garlic mix. We're going to save a little bit just for the garnish, 2 teaspoons of sea salt, 1 tablespoon plus 1 teaspoon of apple cider vinegar. So we're going to puree that for about a minute. Then we're going to take that mix, add it to a pot, and we're going to cook it over medium heat for about 2 to 3 minutes, just to kind of cook out the tapioca starch. So once the mix is thickened a bit, we can add it to our parchment lined baking dish. So now just pop that dish into that 350 degree oven, and we're going to bake it for about 15 minutes. In the meantime, just take whatever roasted garlic mix is left, add it with a little bit of olive oil, a little bit of salt. So to finish it off and to garnish it, I like to add a good amount of black pepper, that roasted garlic and olive oil and salt mix that we made, some nice fresh thyme leaves. You could use anything you want, like parsley, chives, oregano, thyme, and you could serve it with whatever kind of bread or dips or even veg that you want. You could use broccoli, cauliflower, carrots, pita, toasted tortilla chips. In this case, I'm just using some of my sourdough. Now dig in.